When I went quad biking through the fields in Mendoza, Argentina, I had no idea that I was, in fact, an agri-tourist. When I had a few too many tastes of Californian wine on a wine tour just outside of San Francisco, I didn't know that this was, in actual fact, a form of agritourism. And when I went to pick strawberries at a farm in Somerset in the UK, well, you guessed it, I was indeed an agri-tourist. But what exactly is agritourism and how does it work? I'm going to tell you all about it in today's video. If you're new here, my name's Dr. Drhayleystainton and I'm here to teach you all about travel and tourism. So let's start at the beginning. What is it? What is agritourism? Agritourism is a type of experiential travel. It involves doing something on your holiday or your trip, and therefore experiencing the country or the destination more so, and more deeply, than if you simply visited on a relaxing holiday. More specifically, agritourism involves doing something that is related in some way to agriculture. Agritourism is defined by the North Carolina Agritourism Activity Liability Law as any activity carried out on a farm or ranch that allows members of the general public for recreational, entertainment or educational purposes to view or enjoy rural activities, including farming, ranching, historic, cultural, harvest your own activities, or natural activities and attractions. It doesn't necessarily have to include travelling abroad. A simple visit to a petting zoo or a local farm definitely counts as agritourism. In fact, agritourism takes many different forms and comes in many different shapes and sizes. Some examples include wine tours or vineyard tours, camping or glamping, quad biking, horse riding, fruit or flower picking, volunteer tourism, visiting animal farm parks or safari parks, woofing, staying in a homestay located on a farm, taking a farm tour, taking part in an educational visit, going on a relaxing retreat, hunting trips, rural weddings or events, farmers markets, mazes, bird and wildlife watching, and going to a nature centre. Agritourism comes with economic benefits for travellers and for other tourism stakeholders, such as the farmers and the ranch owners. In fact, it's necessary for the survival of some small farms. It allows farmers to diversify their income streams, meaning that they are often able to make money outside of their regular season. By farms offering agritourism opportunities too, surrounding areas and local communities see an increase in people visiting or passing through. This of course means an economic boost for rural areas and is an example of a positive economic impact of tourism. Agritourism is also a more eco-friendly and immersive way to travel. It allows people to have experiences that they may not get elsewhere, meet local people, see off-the-beaten-track locations and more. Agritourism can open our eyes to the more sustainable practices, and this is vitally important. And with the rise of ecotourism, it's no surprise that agritourism is becoming more popular as time goes on. So there are actually different types of agritourism. So let's take a deeper look at what these are. There are so many ways to experience and enjoy agritourism, both in your local area and further afield. Sometimes, in fact most of the time, you aren't knowingly or purposefully participating in agritourism at all. But as there are so many examples, you've probably been lucky enough to try one of them. There are typically 5 types of agritourism. The Journal of Agriculture, Food Systems and Community Development labelled these as direct-to-consumer sales, agricultural education, hospitality, recreation and entertainment. So let's take a close look at these and decipher what it means. What are they? Direct-to-consumer sales. This includes farm stands and pick-your-own experiences. A farm stand, as the name suggests, is somewhere you can visit to buy produce directly from a farm. A farmer's market is similar to this, somewhere you can go to purchase goods from different farmers who have travelled to a particular location to sell their produce. This can range from eggs to cheese to meat. Farms also often have farm shops attached to them, selling produce as well as items from local craft makers and more. You can also visit farms to pick your own goods. In the spring, this could be strawberries or other types of berries, and in the autumn months leading up to Halloween, it's all about pumpkin picking. Agricultural education. School trips to local farms fall under this category of agritourism. You might also, as an adult, visit a farm and enjoy a guided tour, where a farmer or a farm assistant explains the different aspects of farming to you. This would be a type of agritourism as well as a type of educational tourism. Hospitality. From family-friendly interactive farms to relaxing adult-only retreats complete with hot tubs, there are various different farm stay options across the world. You might take the kids camping somewhere with a petting zoo, or stay in a shepherd's hut with your other half enjoying scenic views and milk in your tea courtesy of the cows on site. You can actually book farming holidays too. This is where you turn up at a farm and work in exchange for accommodation. WOOF, or Worldwide Opportunities on Organic Farms, facilitate this globally. They connect travellers with farmers, and you can have a really affordable holiday this way, as long as you're prepared to put the work in, that is. There are farms that you can work on in Mexico, Portugal, Serbia, Myanmar, and so many more incredible locations. Recreation. Hunting, horseback riding, meeting donkeys on the seafront. All of these are recreational types of agritourism. Whether you go on an organised hunt in a rural location, or choose to ride a horse across the desert, these are types of agritourism. Hunting doesn't just mean animals either. You could go truffle hunting. Horseback riding is also something that's offered worldwide as a fairly standard tourist activity. From Petra in Jordan to the beaches in the Gambia, it's a great holiday activity. Entertainment. The final type of agritourism is entertainment. Although the above categories are entertaining in themselves, this is slightly different. The entertainment category includes hay rides, which are popular in the US especially, and involve a hayline truck or a tractor ride. Other countries have started to adopt this activity too, and it's also popular when it comes to Halloween. Haunted hay rides are a great way to celebrate the spooky season. And as with any type of tourism, agritourism has its good parts and its not so good parts. So let's just cover those quickly. Agritourism is a fantastic way for farmers to diversify their income and make some extra cash. With increasing issues such as droughts or increased competition, farmers are often susceptible to financial loss should they have a bad season. However, agritourism can be a great way to compensate this. However, there are disadvantages to agritourism too. Tourists visiting farmland may have negative environmental consequences, trampling the ground or by frightening or displacing local wildlife, for example. The introduction of agritourism can also take the attention away from traditional farm work. Over-dependence on tourism is a problem in many parts of the world, and it's important that farm owners do not entirely abandon their traditional methods of making money. Because should something happen to discourage tourists from visiting, such as an illness, political unrest, a natural disaster, a pandemic, then there would be no money coming in. So now that we understand what agritourism is and why it's important, I would like to finish off this video by giving you a few examples of agritourism in practice in different destinations around the world. Agritourism is popular in the Philippines. It has a gorgeous tropical climate that makes it well suited for this type of tourism, as well as fertile soil and plenty of natural resources. Their natural resources are abundant and people are lovely there. Agritourism in the Philippines is a rich and fruitful experience, leaving you with lasting memories and a whole new view of this part of the world. According to Capwa, a Filipino travel company, some of the country's most popular agritourism activities include vegetable or fruit picking, sampling of local wines, planting rice or root crops, visiting organic farms, milking cows, riding carabos, catching fish, coffee bean picking, farm-to-table dining, and more. Agritourism in the UK. As mentioned earlier, farm stays are really popular in the UK. Being a country so full of towns and cities, people find it a novel experience to stay somewhere more rural. With travel restrictions in place during the COVID pandemic, staycations, of which many were in rural areas, became really popular across the UK. From shepherd's huts to glamping to cosy cottages, there are plenty of agritourism options across the UK. Agritourism in Australia. Another place that sees a lot of agritourism is Australia. This is because the second-year visa requirements say, to earn the right to a second-year visa, you must work in one of Australia's more remote areas. The kinds of places where travelling to the nearest town takes about as long as travelling to a whole other country in Europe. The job must be paid, in the past voluntary work was eligible, and the work hours must constitute a full-time job. Farming work obviously falls into this category, and as tough as this work might be, people often say that some of their best memories of Australia are from working on farms. It is a chance to meet other people who are travelling across the country, and you'll feel proud of your hard work. Agritourism in India. Farming is vital to India and its economy, and as such, agritourism has been incredibly beneficial to tourism in India. You can stay on many of the working farms across this stunning country. From milking cows to lazing in a hammock, walking through plantations, and learning how to cook with produce from the farm itself. There are so many amazing opportunities when you enjoy what India has to offer in terms of its booming agritourism industry. So it looks like agritourism is set to grow even more around the world. And I for one think it's pretty impressive. It's sustainable and it's unique. Let me know what you think about agritourism in the comments below, and if you have enjoyed this video, I have lots more that I'm sure you will love just as much.